And that was Coyote from Stoplight Observations off of Volume 1 here on In the Pit. Some new music here on the station, and that's basically what the guys have been doing these past few months. They've just been releasing amazing new music all the time. It feels like Christmas already. And tonight I'm lucky enough to be chatting with Will of Stoplight Observations. Hello, Will.
Hi there.
Thank you for chatting with me. We're super stoked about everything you guys are up to.
Yeah, stoked to have you playing our music.
Absolutely. So I'm excited to talk to you because you've been working on these volume series now, which I love so far because it's taking kind of a step out of normal tendencies, whether that be presentation or sound. It's unique for kind of the world right now. So where did this whole thing come from?
Well, essentially, we were rolling down the road in our tour van, and we were trying to figure out what's going to be the next step with the music, because we had Coyote recorded, and we had the B-side of it, The Ghost of Larry Ford Jr., which was actually the hidden track on our second record, Tougadoo. Essentially, we just wanted to, have something to release and do something different, because we're really interested in, all of, the online radio type things, and we're all, we all listen to, Spotify and Pandora and whatnot. Yeah. We're trying to do something different. We're essentially trying to bring back the idea of a 45 with a digital version of it. That's where, the idea of the A-side, B-side thing comes from. And the volumes, we actually just saw this truck driving down the interstate that said volumes on it, and we're just like, that sounds great, honestly. I remember thinking to myself, wonder what this could be, and I took a picture of this truck with volumes on it. I'm like, that's going to be the idea, and I still have a picture on my phone.
That's awesome. Well, so you had Coyote, you had The Ghost of Larry Ford Jr. So when did you start then writing the rest of the music for this?
Well, most of the songs we have actually had for some time now, because we have about 3 mobile recording studios in our van. Johnny, Will, and myself all have Ableton Live and all have an Ableton Push, and we're always just working on new music. And Johnny, who's the mastermind of everything with kind of gathering all of our thoughts together and putting out the music, he was just like, let's do it, and after playing on the road a lot and really just jones in to create music, we just got to go to the studio in Charleston and just go in and record some of the stuff that we've had for a while now. So
basically some of these songs could have been on past albums that you might have just skipped out on at that time?
Yeah, I would say so. And some of this stuff is just we came up with it really quickly, and it just worked out. How did we get here? It came from a vocal sample that we created using a synthesizer called Exhale. And it went from that to just the lyrics of how do we get here. And, it completely changed the whole vibe of the route that we were going.
Yeah. And are you basically then self-producing everything?
Yes, actually. So we have our audio engineer who actually lives in Portland now, but he comes back and helps us record. But everything is produced by John Keith himself.
Okay. Wow, you guys are your own little machine going on. That's awesome. So Volume 1 has been out since September, I believe, and we started off with the one song, Coyote. Now, how did this song then come together? This was the first real song you had. Where did this come from?
Well, Coyote is a song that's actually pretty dear to all of our hearts. There's a music video out that it talks about texting and driving, and we just all have friends that have run into some trouble due to texting and driving. There's accidents that happen all the time with that, so it's just kind of awareness of just stay focused. But real meaning behind Coyote is actually just suicide awareness, because every single one of us knows at least someone that we've lost due to suicide, and it's actually pretty hard on all of our heart. And the lyrics, let's raise a cup to a new year, and where everyone says cheers, it's just basically saying let's let's like in the rap world, it's like pour one out for your homie type thing. It's just like it's for all the people that we have lost in our life due to suicide. It's just like, let's raise a cup for them, because life goes on, but still remember those that we have lost.
Absolutely. That song now just means so much more. I'm a huge advocate on mental illness. So this song, I mean, you aren't the first band I get to talk to now about, pushing forward and not being silent about that. So
exactly.
That's really awesome that you guys are doing that and not being silent, and knowing that, your fans or listeners are going through the same thing and they can hear that as well.
Exactly. Everyone goes through hard times, and, just letting everyone know that they're not alone, and that, every single one of us has a song that really hits dear to our heart. And, hopefully someday Coyote will be that for someone, because, it's really tough for a lot of different people to get through life, due to financial reasons or just overall mental health. And it's really good to have at least one song. And I hope that this song can be that for some people.
Yeah. I think it will be. I think you guys are doing great. I want to know, like, from your perspective now with these volumes versus your old albums, what has been the reaction of people getting, just a few songs at the time? What have you been picking up?
Well, I feel like, personally, I feel like it's refreshing to the artist a lot.
Okay.
To be able to sustain a creative mindset for a longer time period. And a lot of the fans' reaction is just like, hey, we're getting new music, every couple months or something. It's great, because we get to be creative, and the live performance wise, we'll be able to recreate all these songs the best that we can, and honestly, fans will just love it. From touring now recently here and stuff, it's crazy to think that only a couple of months ago that we released Coyote, but there's people singing it in the crowds already, especially in our hometown. It's insane.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, and especially now with songs coming out individually, fans can pick them up right away, and they're going to see you and they'll know the words. So that must be really cool to see in the crowd. And now they have more new music, because Volume 2 was just released on Friday. We got How Did We Get Here and Vanderlight. It's out now. I think I have an idea of where your head was creating How Did We Get Here, but can you just explain that single for me a little bit?
Well, How Did We Get Here is... It's a little bit different from actually most of the songs that we will be releasing. But How Did We Get Here is more of the pop side of music, because all of us listen to various different genres in the band. And I was a very big advocate for putting How Did We Get Here as A-side, because I feel like How Did We Get Here can really reach out to some younger fans. It's just it really asks the question of, the hard question of, how did we physically get here on Earth, but how did we get here? There's a bunch of stuff going on in the world, and, we have, a president like Donald Trump, and we're just wondering, how did we get here? How did we let this happen? How do we physically get here on Earth? Was it God? Was it, the Big Bang? We're always asking these questions, and I know the younger generation now, all in high school, are always asking the same question, what's going on in the world? There's so much going on constantly, and we're just wondering, how do we personally, figure out what to do with our lives? How do we get to that point? How do we get here? And that's kind of where that kind of came from. And then Vanderlight really works into the idea of, just trying to understand religion itself.
Well, then did you, when you were setting these out, how did you pick which songs went on which volume? Was there a theme involved?
I remember, because our van broke down a little while ago, and we were driving up through Virginia, and I just remember driving around in my Prius with Johnny and Will, and we have a bunch of these songs just kind of there's only some recorded and some that aren't recorded, and we're just figuring out what song will go best with what's the meaning behind this song, and how they work together. And really, Coyote and Ghost of Larry Ford was just these are the first songs that we have done. this is like, let's create the idea and get it so people will understand it. And then how do we get here in Vanderlei just really complemented each other. And we've kind of have planned out what the next releases are going to be. We're all very excited about it because it's just, there's something, I personally feel like there's going to be a volume for every person.
Okay.
Especially for like the new fans and old fans, there's going to be something like whether you like the A side or B side, it doesn't really matter, because as long as you like one of the songs, that's like what we want at the end of the day. Yeah.
Well, I was actually going to ask you about that. I mean, I feel like each release, there's kind of a different feeling from your last in your music catalog. So do you go through different mindsets or trying something new each time?
Well, yes.
Okay.
I would completely agree with that, because with Coyote, there's more of like all of these songs, I believe, have like a darker aspect to them, a more real hard-hitting, and we're really trying to go for this cinematic rock type sound.
Okay.
Just really just like a luscious, full sound, really pushing the envelope, and I feel like all of the volumes will be doing that.
Yeah.
But each volume kind of has like their own aesthetic. Like there's always a different story to each volume. So like you can kind of look at volumes as a different chapter in a book, and then once you look at all the volumes together, you will understand the full message.
Yeah. Well, we have 1 and 2, volume 1, volume 2. They're both out now. Did touring then change your voice and music at all? Like, did that maybe change why you wanted to go darker a little bit?
I think it's not touring.
Okay.
It's more just all of us are just growing up, and we're all just seeing all this chaos going on in the world. And we're really trying to get past just writing, like, we're writing songs for people that we want them to think.
Yeah.
And we're really just writing songs that really understand where our mindsets are in this time period that we're in.
Yeah.
And I feel like some moments right now are pretty dark. But at the end of the day, there is light at the end of the tunnel always. So with each song, there may be some sort of dark aesthetic to it, but there's always something that just kind of shines through every song. And I really feel like Will's voice really just brings like just this angelic vibe, this really soft side to all of the music.
Definitely. Yeah, I feel like there is a heartbeat in this music that you're releasing. It's not like machine made. It's you guys. Like there's a heart in each song that you've been releasing so far.
Well, thank you.
You're very welcome. So can you give us like maybe a hint of how many more volumes you have in store for us?
Well, so the idea is this could possibly be a never-ending thing.
Oh.
Where we just continuously release. Not to say that we won't have an album. I think right now we have about 7 volumes set out in mind, but we're always creating music, and we're always wanting to be able to release music because, I mean, that looks good for the record labels, but that really is just so our fans can hear what's going on in our heads at this time period. Plus, we're not going to be young for forever, so why not release as much material as possible now so we can look back on it, whenever we're like 60 years old and just be proud of what we released.
Yeah.
So as of right now, there's about 7.
Okay.
But who's to say there can't be more?
Yeah. Well, do you know about like maybe when you're gonna be releasing a next one? I don't know if you can say or not.
I personally do not. There's still a lot of work to go into this next volume. So.
Do you have most of the songs like fully produced, or are you still going to the studio like finishing things up?
We're still going to the studio finishing things up. Yeah. But we usually turn songs around pretty quickly. Like all we got to do is just get to the studio, and then if we work for like 3 days, we could probably have another song out.
Wow. Wow. I encourage your work ethic. That is awesome. And you're putting out like fantastic stuff on top of it. So congratulations basically for everything that you guys are doing right now.
Oh, well, thank you so much.
You're welcome. We've been talking about it. How can people get these volumes? How can they check you guys out?
Just the iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, SoundCloud. It'll be all over the place digitally. And then, if you check out our website, you can, at some point hopefully very soon, we're going to be releasing physical 45s
Okay.
of the volumes.
Perfect. That it all works so well. That's awesome. What does 2018 have in store? I mean, you guys got new music, touring. What's up?
New music, touring, as usual.
Yeah.
We're really excited for this show that we're going to be playing New Year's Eve with one of my personal favorite bands, Moon Taxi.
Yes.
And we're playing at the Tabernacle. It's going to be really cool. I'm really excited about it.
Wow.
So that'll be a great way to just kick off the year the right way.
Definitely. Oh, can people still get tickets for that show?
Yes, I think they can still get tickets right now. I mean, they're selling out pretty quickly.
Yeah.
It's going to be a really big show.
Oh, that's going to be awesome. Everybody go check that out if you can for New Year's. Check out the volumes. Well, I mean, we're so excited to hear what the rest of these volumes sound like continuously, and very stoked to see where you guys continue to grow in the future. Maybe your voices will change, and that'll be even more interesting to sound. But congratulations to everything so far and what's to come.
Thank you so much. Thank you for talking to me and whatnot. It's
Absolutely.
been a great pleasure of mine.
Oh, this is great. We're gonna end things now with "How Did We Get Here?" So, Will, if you want to introduce this song, we'll take a listen.
All right. This is Will Mahoney from Stoplight Observations, and this is "How Did We Get Here?"